Guys, today I can show you something really cool. I have the brand new Millenium MPS-1000 E-Drum Set right here in the studio. Welcome to Thomann Drum Bash. My name is Simon. Let's go! First things first, how does it feel? In my opinion, the visual appearance of the set contributes a lot to the feel. Having real drum shells under your sticks just feels so much better than these standard pads despite the mesh heads, and it just makes it a lot of fun to play the kit. I had it at home for a total of about 2 weeks now, adjusted the tension of the mesh heads as closely as possible to my acoustic set and was able to deal with it intensively. There are many setting options to quickly and above all easily adapt the set to your personal playing style, which is just great. Before we go into detail, let's have a look at the new features. The cymbal pads can be played 360 degrees, which means no matter where you hit the cymbal, you will always get a sound. The module comes with a color display, which is really unique in this price range. You've got 8 completely freely assignable direct outputs and a total of 335 MB of hard disk space for importing your own samples and loops. And as with the MPS-1050, there is a Bluetooth connection to play music from your smartphone or tablet. The kit itself has a width of 1.6 meters and a depth of 1 meter. The hardware, consisting of 3 cymbal boom stands, a hi-hat stand, foot pedal, a snare stand and a module stand, appears stable and easy to assemble. Just put on the cymbals and drums, wire them up and off you go. The shells are made of real wood in the following sizes: 10-inch, 12-inch, 14-inch toms, a 20-inch bass drum and a 13-inch snare. They are covered with double-layer mesh heads and there is a rubbering on the hoop on the top, which makes playing the second sound of the so-called two-zone pads more pleasant and above all quieter. All 3 toms are two-zone pads. The snare has 3 zones where the third sound is controlled by the playing strength on the rubbering. The so-called cross-stick sound is heard with lighter hits, the rimshot sound with harder hits. And you can adjust the playing strength at which the sound changes in the advanced menu. Each zone can be assigned a sound of your choice, but we'll get to that in a minute. The 2 crash pads and the hi-hat pad are 2-zone pads, 1 sound on the top, the so-called bow, and another one on the edge. The ride is a 3-zone pad with different sounds on the edge, the bow and the bell. What I personally like a lot is that the module is mounted on an extra stand, which makes it much easier to position and makes it also more accessible. Maybe you know the problem that the hi-hat pad often makes it more difficult to use the module. Is the bass drum compatible with double pedals? Yes, it is! Let's move on to the core of the drums, the module. The first thing you should do after you switched on the module is to calibrate the hi-hat. To do this, you go to Setup, Advance, and you then have to play the hi-hat pedal once so that the hi-hat trigger is activated and you get access to the calibration menu. Then close the hi-hat, press Enter, open the hi-hat completely, press Enter again, exit. When you've done that, the hi-hat should work pretty well by now. And with chick time, splash time, etc., you can refine the calibration a bit more. To the module interface. On the surface, you can see 2 large knobs at the top left, with which you can adjust the master volume and your headphones volume. Directly below are large faders with which you can adjust the volume of the individual pads. At the top right, we are greeted by a nice large color display in which the preset kit number, kit name, measure type, tempo, and whether a song is selected or not are shown in the standard view. To the left, there are two arrow buttons that are used to navigate within the submenus, and to the right you will find the enter and exit buttons, and below the color display are even more buttons. The first one takes you to the so-called edit mode. Here you can make all settings that affect either the sound of the activated pad, or the effects of the pad, or the entire kit. With group, you select the group in which your desired sound is located. You'll find a total of 870 different sounds on the device categorized in kick, snare, tom, ride, crash, hi-hat, percussion, loop, off, so no sound, or use a sample, which include your own imported samples. There are already 40 pre-assembled preset kits from the sounds, and detailed list of all kits and sounds can be found in the back of the user manual. With voice, you change the sound from the group you've just selected, either with the rotary knob or through the submenu that you can access by pressing the enter button. There you can select the desired sound, and in the lower right section of the display you can see which pad and which zone is currently activated. With volume, pitch and pan, you change the volume, the pitch and semitone steps, and the panning of the selected sound. With pad effect send, you can de- or increase the amount of the kit effects preset effect on the selected zone of the pad. In Kit FX preset you will find a total of 23 different room, reverb, chorus and delay effects that you can apply to the complete kit. With Kit Effects Level and Kit Effects Time you set the volume and the length of the selected kit effect, and then you can give your created kit a name. With all these settings you can put together a wide variety of kits and save them into 40 user kits. I've put together two sets here to show you what is possible with the MPS-1000, which you can download in the video description box below. In the setup mode, you can adjust the following settings. Back volume. This changes the volume of the song you want to play along with. Channel mute can be used to switch the drums or the rest of the instruments of the backing tracks on or off. With play mode, you set whether the song you selected or all songs should be repeated. With the metronome, you can turn it on or off, change the volume, change the tempo, change the sound of the metronome. You can change the time signature and choose between 11 different time signatures. And you can assign the metronome to different outputs. All outputs includes master and headphones, master only or headphones only, which is especially pretty cool for live situations. In the advanced section, you can change the sensitivity of the pad, the headroom, sense time, and a peak decay. Trigger is one of the most important settings when it comes to your personal playing style, because here you can adapt the velocity curves to your own drumming. You can choose from a total of 4 different main curves: linear, exponential, logarithmic, and spline. Here's an example of the curves that I have set for myself. The kick is a spline curve, snare and hi-hat are linear, toms and crash are logarithmic, and the ride is exponential. And this also gives you a pretty interesting insight on your personal playing style. Note send defines the transmitted MIDI note for each individual zone of the pads. Crosstalk is a fast prevention of crosstalk to the other pads. And then you have a compressor and an equalizer, which you can route to the master out, your headphones, and all available pads. With plus and minus buttons or the rotary wheel, you change the target and the value of the EQ, and with the arrow buttons, you switch back and forth between the parameters you'd like to adjust. In the direct outs menu, you change the volume of each output and the channel assignment that you can set up according to your taste. In the user sample menu, you can import your own samples stored on a USB memory. The files can be in 44.1 or 48 kHz, and you can either load or erase sample per sample or all at the same time. You can import up to 100 samples with a total space of 335 MB. So let's build a kit with imported samples. Auto power off sets the time when the module automatically switches off when nothing happens on the kit, and you can choose between 5 minutes up to 60 minutes. And in night mode, all buttons light up, which is pretty helpful, especially on dark stages. Language? Well, choose your favorite language. Reset speaks for itself, right? Factory reset. Let's go back to the surface. With the tempo button, you can either tap the desired tempo or press it once and change the value with the rotary wheel. The metronome button starts and stops the metronome. The quick record button you can use to record yourself. To the right, there's a stop button to play or stop a song. You will find a total of 70 songs on the module, and you can load another 50 songs. And use the arrow keys to switch between the songs. What about in and outputs? The individual in and outs are located on the rear of the module. As already mentioned, there are a total of 8 direct out channels. The line out output in a mono and stereo right-left format, and you control the output volume with the master volume knob. A line in for connecting audio playback devices, a USB stick connection, USB MIDI to connect the drum set to your computer, and I'll show you exactly how this works in another video. 2 external pad inputs for the second crash and another auxiliary pad, the trigger input cable connection. And on the front, we have 2 headphone outputs. So guys, what do you think? Tell me in a comment how you like it. I'm very curious about your opinion. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell. And I'll see you again next week Wednesday in a new video. Take care, Simon out. Bye bye.